Today I want to share a story with you. It's almost a bit of an epiphany for me, and it actually goes back to my history in retrieving news, gathering news and republishing that for another audience. I have, in less time than 48 hours, been able to start up, build and publish and get the first newsletter subscribers to a totally new news website in less than 48 hours. And I want to share with you how I did that. Some of you know that I started, it goes back about 20 years. I started first it was a solution and then it became a company. It was called Jabot. And what we did was that we gathered, curated RSS feeds, news feeds from news sites all over the world. We collected these, gathered them on and stored them on our servers in databases, and then made it available for customers to search within these news and to republish them on websites, on intranets, and even on social media platforms. So I know quite a lot about RSS feeds and working with news items. I haven't done much of that since we closed down Jabot some 15 years ago. Leaping forward to just a few days ago when I found Make.com, and I thought I need a project, something to test this on. And me and my wife, we are moving to Italy in just a few weeks to the Lake Como area. And I realized that despite Lake Como being a very popular tourist area, a destination for people from all over the world, as well as being a place where many expats. So I found it rather strange that I couldn't find any English language news sites for the Lake Como area. What I did, I started with gathering news from the local news pages that are available in the Lake Como area. And I used a tool called RSS app. RSS app doesn't only allow you to take RSS feeds, it also transforms web searches into RSS feeds. In this case, I took about 5 local news sources and bundled them into one RSS feed. So I would only have to read from one source. And this is a bundle, and it will contain duplicates, because if there is an incident in the area, most of these news sites will write about it. But the thing is that I took this to Make.com. This is Make.com. I'm going to just run you through this, run this with you, explain it a bit on how I've thought and how I succeeded in starting this news site in less than 48 hours. So what I've done is I'm reading this RSS feed from rss.app. Nothing strange about that. And what Make does, it takes input, processes it in these what they call operations, and then chains it and sends it over to the next operation, the next module, and it goes on. And this module has access to everything from the previous two, and this module in the end has access to all the outputs from all the different modules before it. So the first thing is that we gather news from this RSS feed, this aggregated RSS feed that contains so many different news about Lake Como. And I put that into OpenAI's API. And I basically tell OpenAI in GPT-4o, I think yes, I'm using GPT-4o because that is cheap and cheerful. Take the following article and rewrite it in English, mention the source and add a link to the original news item. And then I add the title and the description and the link that I have received from the RSS. I also tell it to produce this in an SEO optimized way and in an HTML format. So then I have a translated, summarized article about in English from the original Italian news article. I put that further into the next process of where I'm using OpenAI. And this time I give OpenAI, I ask OpenAI to write a headline for this article. And I just put in the new content that it just created. And then I get a headline. Next step is to see in which of the categories. My WordPress site has several typical news categories, such as news, events, sports, gossip, finance and business, politics, holiday and travel. And I ask OpenAI to determine which of these categories do you think that this new item, this news item, will fit in. And then we have this operation here. That is new. I didn't have that from the beginning. This takes all the input from before, and I ask OpenAI to create a prompt that I can use for DALL-E 3 to create an image. And as you will see, all the images on my website have a theme. And because I did not want to use any original photos or images or illustrations from the article, from the original news article, because of copyright issues. So I wanted to create new original artwork, but in a quirky and unique way. Then we take all this information and put it into my WordPress site. We have some operations here. We create the post. There are things we add, categories. There are things that I should recommend you, and that is not to publish these items or these articles directly, because they will have minor errors. There can be comments from the AI saying, do you like this item? Do you like my translation? Blah, 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 and so on. So put it in a status like pending or draft or just something like that so you can monitor it. And then in my scenario here, in my chain, the last item is actually I send myself an email saying that new items have been added to my WordPress site. So this is what happens. It reads news items, steps through all these steps, publishes on the WordPress site, and then sends me an email. That's it. And it ends up like this. This is the Lago di Como.Today news site. I launched it just less than 24 hours, and then I've tweaked it quite a bit after. You need to tweak these things, you need to work with them, you need to understand how AI will respond to your queries. And as you can see, it has a very distinct imagery, or the drawings, the illustrations here. They are quite unique. They are not as consistent as I would have liked them to be, but we are getting there. They are becoming better and better the more I work with the prompt for DALL-E 3. So from an RSS feed, taking that into several steps through Make.com, and then publishing it on a WordPress site. So what I have learned over the past days that I've worked with this is that I have decided not to let AI produce the images automatically, because I want to have control over it, and because images is what costs the most. And when it comes to cost, this site, what costs is the licenses and the operations for Make.com. It costs the OpenAI API costs. And so far, over these first 3-4 days that I've tested this now, I have an actual cost of about 10 euros a day in cost to produce this, and I have published about 30-40 news items every day. It is quite cheap, but still it does carry a cost. It will cost me some 300-400 euros a month to run this, and that is not including the time that I have to spend publishing, selecting which news items to publish, and so on, and tweaking. But I have learned so much, and this is a great tool to gather information. It can be for your company and your organization. This could be news about your industry, your competitors, even your customers. And you can take this in and you can distribute that as a newsletter or publish it on your own website. And with this knowledge, the knowledge I've gathered over the past days, I can help you with that. I have worked with online news for well over 20 years, and I think that this is spot on for a very good solution that is cost effective and kind of automatic, mostly automatic. And it's a great thing. So check out Lago di Como.Today, and you can see what I have accomplished in less than 36 hours, including some sleep. Cheers.